Hello everybody, this is Mandy from Mandy's Makings, and today we're going to do a project that I promised in one of my last videos, and that is this braided kumihimo that looks like it's plaid. So as you can see, there's like some fun colors in here, and it actually looks like it's plaid. Like it's really neat. See if I can get this to focus for me nicely. There you go. Oh, maybe not for a split second. There we go. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to try to do this, and I've just picked some really bright colors because I want you to be able to see the pattern as it develops. So as you can see, there's sort of the pink and the blue in here, and those are the two primary colors. And the white that's in here is my third color. And when we talk about the two that have the three strands, that's the blue and the pink. So if you're deciding you want this to be, let's say, black and red, then you'd pick those two colors if you want those to be the prominent ones, and then another color. If you want it white and red, and then you want black as the third color. So that changes how this looks. So this is just a quickie bracelet that I did up, and I saw this on a YouTube video, and it was only in Spanish or Portuguese. I'm not even sure which language it was, and she was showing some Peruvian weaving patterns, and it's instead of kumihimo, it's called kumari, and it's very different, and it's fun, and I love the fact that you can get, use any bright colors you want. I did this with some really thin wool, and I'm going to do the one today, the example, with some wool as well. And this is a number 3 thickness wool. You can do this with hemp, you can do this with ceylon, whatever you'd like. If you go thicker, your pattern is more pronounced, but it's also, you can see the threads more individually. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to do it. It's really kind of cool, and we're going to work on that together. So first of all, you're going to need to pick 3 colors. You really need to have 3 colors no matter what you do. And you're going to need a disc, a kumihimo disc. You can make this out of cardboard. There's lots of places on the internet to see how to make one of these. Lots of YouTube videos, so definitely check those out if you don't have one of these kumihimo boards. You can get these pretty cheaply, just about any craft store, Michael's, even Walmart carries them sometimes. So you need 3 strands of each color. So I have 3 strands of my primary color. So I'm going to make this black and white with a little bit of green accents. So the little tiny where the white's going to be here is going to be green. So I thought this would be kind of fun for St. Patty's Day. It's plaid with a little bit of green. I'm using a bright green. This is actually leftover sweater wool from a grandson, and some white wool. But anyways, so I did them 40 centimeters long, and I'm just doubling them over and finding the center, so that they're, finding the center. So there's 3 strands of that, 3 strands of the white. So I have 3 strands of white, as you can see. So let me find the center of that. And 2 strands of the last color. So that's all you need, is 2 strands of the last color, not 3. Okay? So let me find the center of that, and this wasn't centered, so here. So you just put them all together. And I just use another scrap of a different color of wool, or by cording material, or, and you cut off what you have left that's still on the board. Just save those little scraps. They make great little tie-ins. And I'm just literally going to square knot this on in the center. Now this, unlike other kumihimo braids, I don't find that I actually need any weight. Sometimes I like to give it a little pull from the bottom, and so this gives me something that I can, wrap around my finger and give a little pull should I need it. One of the things I do use, though, and I gotta find it now. Where did I put it? I've got all kinds of stuff out here right now. Yeah, there's a little binder clip. So I just have a little binder clip. You can use a bigger binder clip, whatever you'd like, and I just use this so that it doesn't pop back through the hole easily. So now there's another thing you need to do, is you need to do something with your board. Sorry about the coughing. I've got a little bit of a Cool, and I'm getting over. So you have the north, south, east, and west, or west and east, as it shows here, that's normally on your board. And what you need to do is make a spot, another spot, because you're going to need to have these spaced evenly. So you need to do another spot, and this one's at 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, and do it at number 4, 5, 6, 7. It's at 8, 9, 10, 11. So every 4 spots you've got one, basically. You've got a dot. So, and I just did them with the purple, with an ink pen. I just went, made a little dot. And as you can see, I made a mistake up here and then went, rub it out. So I have these, and now I'm good to go. So you stick your thread through, your whatever material you're using, it's fine. And I just grab a hold on the back here. I don't know if you can see it. I just grab a hold somewhere near the top. Doesn't really matter where. And this one I picked is a little bit small. So this is where the fun part begins. So basically what you're going to want to do is put 3, so you have 3 strands, or 6 strands of each color for the black and the white, and you have 4 strands now of the green. So you're going to want to put 2 of the green strands, let me get this out of the way, at the south position. Okay, and then you're going to want to put the other 2 green strands, and I'm just pulling these around. And because it's wool, this doesn't tend to, for me, tangle up. If you have problems, didn't say how long it is. So I did them so that they were 4 feet long, but you definitely don't need that much. You could do 30, 40 centimeters would probably be enough. Usually the rule of thumb is 3 times the amount of lacing material that you want the actual bracelet to end up being. So I'm just trying to pull some of this from one side so I don't have it all on the one side here. So I'm just going to pull some of this. I'm making a big mess here off screen here. Just pulling some of this cording over. Okay, so I just got to divide it up a little bit more. Okay. I'm just pulling all the black to one side and all the white to the other side. Okay. See how I got all the black on one side and all the white. Now you're going to set 2 strands in each of these purple dots. So at the 4, you're going to set 2 strands. You're going to set 2 strands at the 8. And 2 strands at the 12. Okay. And mine's not terribly centered, but that's okay. We can fix that. So then you can 2 spots of the black at the 28, 2 spots at the west position or 24, and 2 strings at the 22. So basically you got the white side, the black side, and the other color, you know, and you could do this in, you know, purple, pink, and lime green if you want. Doesn't really matter what colors you want to do, whatever makes you happy. And I'm just going to give this a little snuggy pull. So the other nice thing about this, I don't know if you can see that the red is showing. When I'm done and I pull this out, it's actually going to be a finished end. I'm not going to have to worry about knotting it and cutting it off and all that stuff. With this particular braid, it doesn't give me any hassles. So let me just see if I can adjust this camera a little bit, because it seems to be sliding down on me. Get it up a little higher so you guys can see a little bit more. There we go. So this is an interesting pattern. It's not the typical where you come up and down, up, you know, and turn the wheel. You will be turning the wheel a little bit, but you're going to be turning it both clockwise and counterclockwise. So we'll just do this step by step. So the first thing you're going to do is on the left side of the north, you're going to take that thread and you're going to put it in the space. I just moved it over, like, so it was here. I went 1, 2, 3 to this empty spot between the 2 white ones over here by the 4. Pretty simple, right? I'm going to pick up the next one that's right beside it, which was on the one side of the 4, and I'm just going to move it to the one side of the 7. Then I'm going to pick this one up and I'm going to put it to the 11. And I'm going around the board. You see, I'm still holding the board north-south, and I'm putting the next one. And then I'm going to start it with the green. So I'm going to pull the green in the middle because it's the one that's in the middle, and I'm going to put it in the 19. And then I take the one that's in the middle here, and I put it beside those two. So I keep making groups of 3 and then taking the one out of the middle and making a new group of 3 and taking in the one out of the middle, and I'm back. So now I have like all these spaces between my sets of cords. See, there's a space here, space here, space here. So we got to go around one more time. So each round is twice around. So what I'm going to do now is take this one and put it back by the 4. Take this one and put it back by the 7. Take this one and put it back by the 12. Take this one and put it back by the 16. Take this one and put it back by the 20. Take this one and put it back by the 24. Take this one and put it back by the 27. So now we're back up with 2 pairs around each one of those little dots. So that's your round 1 and 2. So basically I went around the board once, moving this one to the 3rd spot, and then pulled the middle one and then moved that to make a new group of 3, and I did that all the way around, and then I went around one more time so that I put all the stuff back where it belongs. Now we go the opposite way. And as you can see, I don't have to spin this board, so it's really kind of cool. I could just use one hand or the other hand. So I'm going to take from this side now, and I'm going to bring it the opposite way. And I'm going to pull the one out of the middle and make a new group of 3. Pull the one out of the middle, make a new group of 3. Pull the one out of the middle, make a new group of 3. Pull the one out of the middle, make a new group of 3. Pull the one out of the middle, make a new group of 3. Pull the one out of the middle, make a new group of 3. Pull the one out of the middle and bring it back up to the top, so we have 2 at the top. And now I'm going to keep going for the second round on this one, putting everything back so that it's on either side. So I'm just taking the one here. Now, don't get confused. It's not this one that you move. The ones that are closest to the... So, see how this one is really close to the purple dot? You don't move it. You move the one that's farther away from the purple dot, and you just bring it over beside the purple dot. So, you know, that's why the dots are handy, because it's visual, and I'm a visual learner. So I'm just bringing them over, and I'm going to go all the way around, and now I've made 2 rounds. So I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to do 2 more full rounds so you can see how it goes. Sorry about the coughing. So first I went this way twice, and then I went this way twice. So now it's time to go this way. Now, the other way you can tell, let's see if I can get this to focus. If you look at this white thread and this black thread that's in the north position, it's always, so if you put this down and forget about it, and then you come back and go, oh, which one's the next one? I don't know if I'm going right or left. See how this black one is below the white one? The white one's sort of towards the top, and the black one's towards the bottom. Always pick the one that's towards the bottom to start with next. So, take my black one under here, and I'm going to move it over 1, 2, 3 spots to make a new group of 3. So I have a new group of 3 here. Take the one out of the middle, which happens to be my green one, and don't go like this. You got to go you're literally moving it a couple of spots. Take the one out of the middle and moving it over. Take the one out of the middle and moving it over. And if you ever put it down and you have 3 left spots, 3 together, that means you have to take the one out of the middle and keep going. So, one out of the middle, one out of the middle, one out of the middle, and I just got to make sure I get the right thread here, one out of the middle, and put it up here. So now we got to do the second round, which is to bring them all back beside the dot. So see how this is like this? I have the 4 here, I have the 3 here, and these 2 are already together around the north. So I know I have to move this one, because these 2 are already together, and I need to make a pair together around this 4. Same thing here. So I don't take the white one because it's already around the 4. It's where it's supposed to be. This one here is out by 1, so I need to move it over 1. So I'm moving it over 1. Take the 11, put it beside the 12. Take the 15, put it beside the 16. Take the 18, put it in the 19. Take that one, go here, here, and I'm back up to the set of 2 around each one. Now, Which way should I be going next? Let's take a look at the center. Hopefully you can see that. Look, the white one is now in the bottom. It's at the very bottom. See how this black one's over top and you can see it really easily? This one's way at the bottom. Not necessarily the very bottom thread, but for the north position, this is the bottom thread, which means I now have to go this way. So I take it over, move it 2, or 3, sorry. Take it, move it over to make a group of 3. Take the middle one, move it over, make a group of 3. Move it over, make a group of 3. Move it over, make a group of 3, make it over, group of 3, group of 3, group of 3. Okay, so now I have to go around a second time, put it beside it, put it beside it. So I'm putting it back to the position so we can get ready to go the next one. So you're twice around each time you do a round. Now this one doesn't seem like it does much for the first little while. And unlike other Kumihitos, it kind of looks like a hot mess in the middle. And you don't see a cord at all for a while. It's a very slower process to do this. I'm going to do a little bit of this, and I'm going to come back once I have a little nubby, and I'll show you what this is going to look like as we go along, okay? So I'll be back to show you what this looks like. Again, 2 on each dot. So you can get your discs ready and get your threads cut, and you can get to this point. Start working with me if you want, and we'll come back. And if you want to see more videos like this and some unique and interesting weird things, because I do all kinds of crazy stuff, definitely like or share and subscribe. You know, like and subscribe for sure. If you don't want to share it, that's fine. Would love to have some feedback too. So if there's something that I could do slower, or you didn't understand, or you'd like more information on, please let me know, and I will definitely get back to you on that, okay? So I'll be right back when I got a nubby so you can see what it looks like. Hi, I'm back. This is Manny. So you can see I've done a little nubby, and this is kind of cool. It's the black and white with the green, and you can see, oops, if I can get this thing to focus, it's like a plaid, looks like plaid. So this is what the start of this is looking like. See how you have the bigger sections of the black and the white, and then the green is sort of the third color in here. Let's see if I can get this sucker to focus. There we go. So that should help you. So you can see it's already started, and this has only been, for me, about 4 minutes, 3 minutes. One of the things I do is give it a pull, as I said, partly because I'm using wool and it has a bit of a stretch to it. So I'm going to show you the top. Now, you can see you sort of get this little center, it looks like a little star. The other thing too is you can see that each thread sort of looks like it's coming up and around the middle and like little spokes on a wheel. It's another thing so you know that you're doing okay. The other thing is that once you go around several rounds, I didn't count how many, it will eventually end up back in this position. And you sort of know, oh, I'm still on track, I'm still doing good, because I'm back in this position again. Because I know it seems like you're not doing a lot of moving, but it does produce, you know, a little nubby. And then it will produce a bracelet, obviously, if you just do how many inches you need. So, you know, whatever inches you need for a bracelet. For me, I like to wear them about a 7.5. So I'm going to come back when I have about 7, because I need space for the clasp and stuff. So I'll come back when I'm about 7, and I'll show you how to take it off the wheel. Hi everybody, welcome back. As you can see, I have completed the braid. Isn't that wonderful? Look at the colors in that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really happy with the way it came out, and you can see where it sort of, the two colors go over top of each other, and then the patches of the color. It's quite neat looking, and it's braided. So I have 6 3/4 because I remeasured my wrist to make sure it was going to be fitting, and I need to leave a little space for whatever clasp you're using. So I just grabbed a toggle clasp and a couple of jump rings. So depending on the clasp you want to use and how you actually finish your ends will determine the length that you need to have your, you know, Kumari braid. And this is like a big clasp. Like if I was making a double wrap or something, I might use a bigger clasp like this. This is made for another project, but this gives you an idea this would take up a lot of space compared to how much space this takes up. So, you know, when you compare the two, when you're figuring out how much space this is versus how much space this is. So pick your clasp, measure it out with your wrist measurement, knowing that you need to have a little bit of give to be able to put the clasp on. And, you know, basically if you can stick your finger underneath the bracelet, you've got enough. So let me take this off the board now since we're done. I'm going to take my fingers, and I've got them up inside. As you can see, I have my fingers, and I'm pinching really hard. And I'm just pinching with my fingers. And I'm just taking it all off the board. One set of double strands at a time. So I get them all off. Now this is how way I do it. Everybody does it differently. And as you can see, I have lots of thread left over. I could have definitely gone with, you know, a lot less thread than I did. But this is fairly cheap wool, and I wasn't worried about it. So I just pick a random strand or two. I'm going to pick one. I'll pick two today. And I am just literally going to hold this, and I'm wrapping this strand around as tight as I can. I'm holding it, and I'm pulling like this around, and then I'm going to knot it to another two strands. And that sort of gives me a nice finished edge without all the knots in the way, and it keeps it from sliding off. It's a little bit complicated. As you can see, I have lots of threads in the way. It's a little bit complicated to tie the knot, but you can do it. Just be patient with yourself. This is where I often get my teeth involved. Then they grab one of the sets of threads. So I bring it up to my mouth and, you know, pull the one set of threads. But you can still go slowly and do it this way. So I'm just pulling and pulling and pulling while I'm still holding it all there. And as you can see, it just finishes off that end pretty good. Now this is a place where you definitely could put a little bit of glue. Would be a good idea. So then you get to finish your ends any way you like. So I'm going to finish my ends with this little weird technique that I have. I just take some wire, and as you can see, it's coming straight off the spool. This is an 18 gauge silver plated wire from ParaWire, and I'm just sort of straightening it a bit. I could pull out my pliers and straighten it further if you wanted to. Usually you do a 4 or 5 inch piece. It doesn't really matter. It's what you want to do. So I need two. I need one for one end and one for the other end. So I'm going to start with them the same so that they are equal. Oops, they're equal. So I need to straighten this wire. So my fingers are a little sore today. My calluses were peeling off yesterday. So I have all these calluses. I've been doing so much wire work. So I just have 2 pieces of wire. Let's get that out of the way. So now this is what I do. You could do it any way you'd like. As I said, this is how I finish the end. Okay, so I'm going to work from the other end. I'm going to take 1.5 inches from the bottom end here. And I'm going to bend it 45-degree angle. Put my pliers in and bring this around. Reposition my pliers. I shouldn't have left them in. So you get the nice little eye loop. Now, I'm just going to straighten that wire a bit. There we go. So I wrapped it around my pliers without repositioning my pliers. I'm having a bad wire day. Good thing I'm not doing any wire work. So one of the cool things about this braid is it's hollow. So what I do is I take that wire, that shorter piece of wire, and I stuff it in there, in that hollow hole. So you can see, now I'm going to cut some of this off because it's way too much thread, and it's not going to go anywhere, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to get it out of the way. So I'm bringing that down. As you can see, it's right down there. And I'm going to take my pliers, and I'm going to grab a hold of the loose threads, and you can see this is where the binding off was. It's right there. So I'm holding it just above that. And I'm going to have to get a good grip, so I'm getting right down into that crux of my pliers so I can get a really good grip. And I'm going to start wrapping this. Just make sure all the threads are on the other side. And I'm wrapping, and I'm just doing a wrap. That could be a little closer. Shove it up with my thumb. There, close enough. And I'm wrapping it. This doesn't have to be perfect. And this wrap, you don't even need glue. This wrap, as you can see, it's biting into the Kumihimo, which is great. And depending on how long of a piece you start with, that's why I kept them consistent, depends on how many times you get this coil sort of effect around the end. So I get to the end, I let go down here, and this gets a little bit more difficult, but basically I'm going to follow this wire around. And one of the things I like to do is I like to take the very end of the wire. I should probably zoom this in, so let me just zoom in here. See if it'll focus for me. Come on, baby, focus. There we go. So I have the wraps. I have that little piece sticking out here. You can take your round nose pliers, flat nose pliers, whatever you like, and just, I'm going to curve this in towards the work. And the reason being is because then when I flatten it down, it's going to bite into the Kumari braid. See how it bit into the Kumari braid? So that sucker is not going to go anywhere. It's also not going to hurt you. So now, depending on what kind of... Sorry about that, my battery died. So I'm back. I finished both ends, as you can see. They're both wire wrapped and they're both finished off. So they're both done. So now we just have to quickly put on the jump rings before my battery dies again. So I'm just grabbing my 2 sets of pliers. Open the jump ring. I'm going to put it on, and then on the one end, and I always do that, put the big buttons on this side and have trouble. Rip. And you just close up the jump ring. So you do both ends, this end and the other end, and then you have yourself a bracelet. So this is what it looks like when you put it on. Yeep. So I hope you have fun with this project. Again, like and subscribe if you want to see more fun videos. I'm going to hopefully do some wire weaving in the next video because I know that everybody loves the wire weaving. So I'm going to go back to that. This was a request on how to do fun Kumihimo. Signing off from Manny's Makings. Keep on making.